Recorded by a local resident back in 2015, this footage of a mysterious, ghostly, city-like apparition appeared in the skies of Foshan, China. At the time, Chinese TV news reports mentioned how thousands of city residents in two areas reported seeing the huge city forming in the skies. The apparition, which was witnessed by many, was only visible for a few minutes before completely disappearing. The local news and meteorological reporters suggested that the phenomenon was a type of superior mirage called Fata Morgana, which is when air temperatures near the surface is much cooler than the air above. Apparently, it can make objects appear to be stacked on top of each other, and usually occurs at sea, in polar regions, or in deserts. Or in this case, like a city in the clouds. However, most people think that what was seen in China was way too high off the ground to be considered an example of Fata Morgana. It's also worth noting that this appeared online long before augmented reality was as easily accessible to the public as it is today. Other more extraordinary theories said it could be a view into a parallel universe, or that this mysterious sighting was possibly a test form of Project Bluebeam, which is said to be a holographic technology designed to create a fake UFO invasion similar to what happens in the 1996 blockbuster Independence Day. In further online discussion, people were taking into consideration holographic technological achievements and wondered if it's too much to consider the real possibility that a top-secret holographic technology was being tested over a heavily populated area in an effort to get an idea of how the general public would react. Strangely, other sightings of cities appearing in the sky have been reported before this one, and probably can't be so easily dismissed as a Fata Morgana mirage or a mere reflection. The incident occurred back in 2012. An entire village in Bauchi, Nigeria, witnessed what they described as a city floating in the clouds. This time, however, much more detail was visible, which clearly could not have been a reflection of their own village. One witness said, "I saw beautiful tall buildings inside it, with tarred roads and cars. It was like a floating city, and from it I could hear machines making noise." Some theories claimed that the village experienced some kind of mass hysteria, while others said that this too could have been a test of holographic technology, but this time in a remote location where it would be unlikely to be captured on video. While many have originally dismissed Project Bluebeam as nothing more than a conspiracy theory, one article published in the Washington Post in 1999 does seem to open up the possibility that this kind of PSYOPs technology was once considered. For those of you who are not familiar with the term, PSYOPs stands for Psychological Operations and refers to non-combative military operations aimed at influencing the enemy's state of mind. In the article, it talks about how the Pentagon once considered a PSYOPs project in 1990. A senior Air Force officer wondered if they could project a holographic image of God floating over Baghdad in a bid to inspire the people and army to rise up against Saddam during the Gulf War. The article goes on to explain that the task was actually handed to a military physicist to look into the feasibility of projecting large three-dimensional objects. It turned out not to be feasible at the time, since they would have needed a mile-wide mirror, a massive supply of power to run the projector, and plus, they didn't know what a god should look like. However, The article concludes that the Washington Post learned that a top-secret program was eventually established in 1994 in pursuit of the technology for special operations and deception missions. If this is true, we can only imagine how much more advanced such secret technology is today, 30 years later. So what do you think the video shows? And what do you think those people in the village saw? Could these be examples of Project Bluebeam? And are there more to come?